Welcome to Balls and Brews, Pod 31. Cheers, Chucky.
Cheers, Z.
T-Mud is in Yellowstone, so it's a Z and C pod today.
Shout out, Money. We hope you're having a blast.
What are we drinking right now, Tom?
Something fantastic. That was a great first drink. Okay,
so it's going to be gone real quick.
Santa Cruz Red Ale by Strike Brewing.
Check this can out.
Yeah, dude.
It's a pretty pimp can.
Oh, if you're any fan of Santa Cruz, the skateboarding company, you know that logo. That screaming hand is iconic. That's what pulled me to the can. I bought that for Zack the night that he was on the struggle bus. I did not know that because I brought a sour to drink with Trevor, and I also I don't want to leave him out. He got to have a new beer to try. So I found that, and I know he's a red, and this is money.
It's delicious.
This smacks so good.
It's absolutely delicious. Has everything.
And he drinks at a 7.5. Take another sip of that.
But a lot of reds do. Like if you
really,
think about,
you think so?
Well, you think about Red Rye from Pigeon Head's right about that 7 spot too. Yeah.
No, I want to say that's more like in a 6 range, isn't
it's
it?
a 7 spot too.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know it's one of your favorites.
Because I love that one too. And I think even the one from Silver Peak.
Okay. The Red Rooster.
That was not a 7, but it was a higher 6.
I don't think so.
You don't think the Red Rooster was?
I think that was like a 5.5, dude.
Because I definitely know that some are, but
I think that was like a 5.5. But no, shout out to technically it's funny. It's Santa Cruz Red, but the brewery Strike Brewing is the company name, by the way. Never heard of them, so shout out. They come out of San Jose, California. So obviously fairly close to one another, but. I thought they were going to be based out of Santa Cruz, but hey, really good fucking beer, dude. That is right off the first take. It's got that nice malty, good mouthfeel with a little bit of not creaminess because it's not a stout or anything, but like that is full bodied.
It's a really good red. It's
thumbs
like everything,
up, dude.
It's everything
yeah,
you want.
I should have bought more of those. I'm definitely gonna go find some more cans. I heavily advise you to if you enjoy that kind of beer.
When you see red on a can, this is exactly what I want it to taste like.
There you go. 10 out of 10, huh?
Oh, it's delicious. It's gonna be gone real soon.
Good shit. We're gonna be obviously moving into a second beer pretty quick, apparently.
We are doing this on Sunday during the 1 o'clock window.
Correct.
So when we're talking, there might be some shit that happens. Might get
some oohs and ahs, some live oohs and ahs. Yes.
But beer question wise, if you can't get a sweet beer like this when you're out,
right? They got nothing but shit on tap.
Don't let you throw you in the bus out back, but dude, your tap fucking selection sucks.
Right. You read it down and you're just like, can't.
What cocktail or alcoholic beverage are you going to at that point in time?
Excellent. Outside of like if I'm just doing something neat, right? Like obviously a bourbon or a tequila. If you're talking cocktail, which I believe, I enjoy a gin and tonic because I feel like you can well a gin and tonic, and if you mix it with some citrus, you can hide it pretty well. It's an easy fallback cocktail. Everybody knows how to make it.
Yep.
I love Bloody Marias, which are obviously Bloody Marys, but with tequila instead of vodka. So, oh, dude, they're so much better. I drink one of those like every weekend during football. Like that's my opening cocktail in the morning. But a gin and tonic, as far as like nightlife, if you will. Downey, do you have a go-to?
Yeah, I'm a big for dinners. I love margaritas.
Oh, okay.
Blended I don't love tequila.
Sure.
It's got it.
Or on the rocks.
It has to be blended because it's on the rocks, and I put a straw in the some bitch. It's gone. Done.
Okay. Now, if you don't like tequila too much, you kind of want a lot of that sweet and sour.
A little bit, but you do get some that gets a little bit, but you don't really ever get too many margaritas at bars or restaurants that are going to be way too much tequila. You know what I'm saying?
No, they're not going to over booze more often than not. It's going to be under boozed.
I'm out of bars. Whiskey waters are a big one. Whiskey on the rocks, and then just 7-7 if I want to go like because you can put
an actual mixer.
You can put any whiskey or Sprite, and it's just amazing.
I don't know if amazing is the word I would use, but definitely a drinkable drink. You know?
Very much so.
Sometimes, man, it's rough when you run into those bars and their tap selection is just not there. And you're just
you're trying not to go that route.
Sure, but I'm not drinking no shitty beer, y'all. That ain't happening. He likes his shitty beer.
I'll drink shitty beer.
All right, so what do we got going on this week, Downey?
College football, we had another big week.
We had a great week.
This is upset weekend. There was one.
I don't know why my hat isn't on the right way. I'm gonna change it real quick.
4 upsets big like ranked teams losing to unranked
Big upsets,
teams.
absolutely. Yeah, not even like ranked on ranked, although let's go Huskies.
There was a ranked upset with Notre Dame beating USC. We'll get
that
into
was because it was a smacking.
Yes.
Yeah, we're absolutely going to talk about that.
First, let's start with the big game of the week, the one that was going to be the big one.
Top 10, baby.
Number 7, Washington 36, beating number 8, Oregon 33. Chuck, what do we got number-wise?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Penix has now jumped into my number 1 as a Heisman. I am a USC person. Caleb's awesome. Michael Penix right now is the top Heisman candidate, I think, in the nation. And Brock Bowers got hurt this week. We're not going to talk about Georgia.
Right.
But I do want to mention that because he should be in the Heisman candidation too with the way he's played. But he got hurt, so that hurts him. Jumping into some of those numbers you got in that game.
Oh, okay. So first off, I want to say the reason why I think he's jumping up Heisman rankings, obviously his stats are insane. It was the way he won this game. We got back on the field and we went right down the field and took the like he did it in a pressure cooker situation. Oregon had all the momentum. We swung it back to ourselves. We got in front. Now we let them get into field goal range. It was a very makeable field goal.
It was a very makeable field goal.
It was. So I mean, but you'll take your wins where you can. But overall, like, championship teams win the dirty ones. Those are the ones you gotta have, especially against a very heated rival. To give you some context of
and a heated rival that played very well.
Well, it was our 115th game. We do not like each other. It's a very underrated rivalry because like this was the first time. This is a great stat. This is the first time in 115 matchups that they were both in the top 10.
That's pretty big.
It was extremely meaningful. It's the last time it's going to happen in the Pac-12.
Yep.
But that rivalry, luckily, we will get it in the Big Ten.
And it wasn't one of those games where like Bo got hurt early.
No.
Penix got hurt.
No.
Both quarterbacks played, shelled out.
Yeah, they started off hot each.
Great
and then,
game for both teams. It sucks when you get these matchups like this that don't turn out to be like this.
Sure. Well, as a fan, I wanted my team to boat race them. But
as a fan of college football,
as a reporter, this is exactly the kind of game you want. Like this had everything. It had offense. It had good defense when need be. Some turnovers, like some drama, like.
And it wasn't. Yeah. And Bo Nix didn't hurt his Heisman run.
No, not at all. 33 for 44, 337, and 2 tuds. He didn't have.
Did he run? What was his? Did he run a lot?
I did not. We don't have any running. No, he was not a huge runner.
Is he like trying to show that? You think this is more of like him trying to show that he can do this from that?
No, because he was out of the pocket. He threw the vast majority of his passes from out of the pocket, so he's still movement. He can run. We know that. Like, so I guess the thing is like I've already showcased that. Like, let's see what I can do with my arm.
I mean, he's playing good ball.
No, absolutely. Overall, that's a great game. Fucking Bo Irving was everywhere. That kid number 0 was just Bucky Irving, I'm sorry, he was just murdering us. Like 22 carries, buck 27 and a tud. Now D Johnson for the Huskies had 100 himself, clean at 100 and a touchdown as well. Oduze had there was a Spellman number 20 on Oregon that was playing well too. I don't have his stats.
Didn't you have 2 receivers go over 100?
I think Polk might have. He balled too. He had a
I think you had 2
Polk
receivers go over 100.
Oduze had himself a doozy of a game. 8 for a buck 28 and 2 tuds. Get out of here, boy. I'm drinking to that. And the game-winning catch. I'm sorry, the game-winning fade. It was a beautiful ball by Penix. You cannot replace a good throw. So a well-placed ball will beat almost anything.
Friday on the Dan Patrick Show, my favorite show to listen to, Ryan Leaf came on, and he said that he would have taken Michael Penix number 1 in the draft this year because he plays in an offensive system, what he does. Earlier in the week, Orlovsky was giving Drake May a ton of love on the DP show as well. So this, I know we're early in the season, but when the college season ends and we start looking at draft stuff,
that draft lead up
this quarterback situation, and Bo's not in that talk, but Bo Nix is in a talk of maybe first round, early second round, and we've got to watch both of them on Saturday. It was such a great matchup.
There's a solid 10 quarterbacks that you could say could potentially be like first or second rounders. Like that's insane. Like we are seeing a new era. I've been hearing that word thrown around a lot in sports radio this week. The era of
QBs.
Well, right. Are you kidding me? Look at all the young talent in the NFL. Look at all the young talent in college that's going to be pushing upward. Like the quarterback position is evolving at at a great rate. So shout out to the Huskies. We moved up to number 5 is what you told me off pod before we started.
I'd have to look to see what Oregon fell to, but I don't think they should very fall.
No,
if Oregon could still win out, they should still be able to maybe push for not necessarily a 4 spot if people don't lose like Washington.
Unfortunately, that won't happen.
I know, but they should be able to push. They're a really good team.
They could still make it back into the top 10. Back in like 5, 6, 7. I just don't see. It depends on how the rest of the nation goes. Like, unfortunately, one loss can bury you. As crazy as that sounds, like you have to almost be perfect for you to make a splash.
So the other big game of the weekend, number 21 Notre Dame.
Routes
USC,
dude. Come on,
48 to 20.
Expecting that.
Caleb threw 3 picks, 199 yards.
First time he'd ever done that, right?
But Hartman didn't necessarily have a great game either.
True.
He was only 13 for 20 for $126 and he had 2 touchdowns.
So it was the running game. Then,
well, it was a lot of picks.
The defense.
3 picks. You're putting them in there. Short field all the time. So just this is what USC we thought. Caleb couldn't be Superman.
Right.
And couldn't carry the team.
I was just about to say, when the only thing that can't be weak was weak, there's no way of overcoming that.
Nope. And next week we're going to talk a little bit. They have another tough game next week, so USC could lose 2 in a row. There's a spot where USC could lose the next 4 or 5.
Well, and we don't play in the regular season.
No.
Right. So we would only meet in the Pac-12 championship if you were to get there.
Correct.
So, I mean, that's a non-conference loss, so it's an out-of-conference. So you still have the availability for your South title.
As we start going through these scores, though, it's again another Pac-12 gouging himself.
That's screwing their own selves up.
So, I mean, we knew USC's defense was awful. Caleb couldn't be Superman, and this was the exact game. They've skated away the last 2 games. This was Caleb being Superman.
Right, because I think that Notre Dame's been playing better teams than USC, so they were ready for the level that SC was at, and SC was not ready for Notre Dame. I think that they had been seeing medium games basically up until this point, and this was the first one where they were like, holy shit, this team is ready. And they got punched right in the mouth. I mean, it wasn't even pleasant.
100%. Let's jump into Bama didn't lose, and the only reason I have it on here is because Bama had another tight game.
Bama is so not Bama this year, right?
No. Very, very...
They don't pass the eye test.
No.
We've talked about this a couple of times.
They are 11. I think they came back in the tight 10. Only 24-21 win over Arkansas. Last week, I think we talked about almost the exact same score over another non-ranked
Milrow
team.
was like 10 for 21 or some shit. Like,
so
it was just very pedestrian. He had a couple of good throws, but
very pedestrian, as you said. Not a ranked against ranked. We didn't talk about this. Is 2 weeks in a row we've kind of talked about him as not having big wins. Let's get into another ranked matchup, dude. Number 12, NC North Carolina 41 over Miami, who had a blowing of a week last week.
Dude, I didn't realize how bad that was until I saw actually what happened. Do you want to know what happened this week? Oh my God! Let's finish this game, but then I'm ready.
Drake May looked amazing. 17 for 33, 273.
So a little man on the completion percentage. That's only like 52-53%.
4 tutties. Some of these are drops, and then Van Dyke though. Remember, he's like. Dude, I was talking to some guys at a tailgate at the UNR. Van Dyke and Ewers are so like each other.
Okay.
Where they come out one game and look
like a first rounder, right?
And they come out
and look like a third rounder.
So this week Van Dyke goes 31 for 48 for 391 and 4 tutties. I think he had 1 pick. But dude, this is like the Van Dyke that we talked about at the very beginning, that everybody was talking about at the very beginning of last season.
Right.
And then he kind of and then we talked earlier this season about, dude, Van Dyke lit it up, dude. He's like looking. And then he comes out and very pedestrian, and then lights it up again.
Right.
Him and Ewers are like the same dude.
So it's the roller coaster, right? So
Ewers a little bit more talented.
Sure. Has put more film out consistently, even though it has been so you basically have to be the scout or the coach or whomever who feels that you can take what is available there and shape it into something even better. Because when they are good, they're both very good.
Ewers a little bit more mobile, kind of the more athletic. He could be a top 15, top 10 quarterback depending on what happens the rest of the season. Where Van Dyke's at can he get to the first round, or is he that
No,
solid second round?
yeah, no.
But dude, when he has games like this, he looks good sometimes, like really good.
All right. Well, no, the one I wanted to touch on was fucking Friday night, dude.
Oh,
I started watching. Oh my god, I started watching that game. It was a blowout. It was 29-0 at half. Yeah, why not? Why not? I was at the gym the very next morning, and it was like Colorado stunned Stanford. I would literally fell asleep thinking there's no way in hell that Stanford comes back and wins this game.
I think I turned it off, and then I think me and my
I was
son,
out. I fell asleep.
son watched a movie.
Why wouldn't you?
And
Absolutely. I need something more entertaining than
I was
that.
getting ready to go to bed, and all of a sudden I get a text. I don't remember who texted me. Holy shit, that Colorado Stanford game was nuts. I was
No,
like,
dude.
No.
I did not find out until Saturday morning, and I stopped, bro. I lie to you not. In the middle of the gym after I saw the scroller happen, I just started. I looked up the highlights on YouTube and watched a 20-minute video before I could do. I had to know what happened at the second half of that.
Epic collapse, he called it.
Man, yeah, it is. That's one of the worst losses in college football this year, if not. Like 29 points.
So let's talk about one more ranked on ranked before we get into the upsets.
Okay.
Number 15 Oregon State, 36 over number 18 UCLA, 24. Good win for Oregon State. And as a Pac-12 fan,
they needed that
and
one.
not necessarily a USC fan, when I'm watching Pac-12 games like this, I root for the higher seed Pac-12 team to win to make the Pac-12 look better.
Sure.
Do you do that even if it's Washington State, or do you just want Washington State to lose all the time?
100%. I don't give a fuck about Washington State. I'm sorry.
For UCLA, it doesn't bother me as much.
I'm ruthless. No, like I have like Oregon's good for the Pac-12, and they'll even be good for the Big Ten. Like I get that. It's nice. It was so nice that this rivalry game meant so much because there were so many years where the Huskies were trash and Oregon was good, or vice versa. The Huskies were good and Oregon was trash. So only one team really had a lot to play for. Whereas like this one was so juicy, but like
because this one could have depended on putting you in the 4.
100%. 100%. Being able to remain undefeated the rest of the year. This was like the game to swing the pendulum one way or the other.
Because now, let's think about it this way.
Because we're both north.
Well, think about it this way now. Say Oregon only has one loss the rest of the season,
right?
And then Texas only has one loss the rest of the season.
Okay.
Texas beat Alabama.
Sure.
Oregon beat some ranked teams, but they didn't beat Alabama.
Sure, in Alabama, in Tuscaloosa. That is going to rain very heavy.
Let's jump into upset weekend. What did I say, Chuck? 5? 1, 2,
I
3?
believe so.
4
or 5. Yeah, 4.
4 upsets.
Unranked beating ranks. Lame on us.
Pitt
smacks Louisville.
38. Louisville number 14-21. Will you look at the Washington State score for some reason? I did not write that down.
Smacks the
dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Pitt comes out, Louisville comes out and has the win over Notre Dame last week. Moves them up into the ranking, and then boom.
Okay. We're gonna Pac-12 the shit out of this. 44-6 Wildcats. Just show them where it is.
Okay, so then Arizona.
Smack.
But let's give Arizona some props.
100%.
Well, they had a good week against you guys.
They were close. We didn't cover the spread.
Then they came out against USC. Gave USC a double overtime.
A fit, sure.
And then come out and beat
Fighting
very good Washington State
hard.
That Washington State team isn't bad.
Because Arizona got picked up to go to where was the other?
Big 12.
Big 12. I was gonna say it was the other. Okay, yeah. So the Pac-12. I'm gonna be upset when that really. Okay, so keep going.
Oklahoma State 39 against ranked Kansas 32. So close game. Kansas is now going to follow the top 25 with that. That's 2 losses. They lost to Texas and now Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State not being ranked. Mizzou 38 over number 24 Kentucky. Kentucky will probably fall out of the top 25 as well.
And Mizzou's been fighting hard. They gave LSU a fit before the end of that second half, last week. So it's not to say that they haven't been playing pretty well, but.
So that's like basically the upsets in the top 25. We talked about Colorado. Right now, just like a little Heisman walkthrough, I really think Penix is 1. Caleb, you can maybe say is 2. Brock Bowers is not going to get enough recognition, but he should be kind of talked about. Is there anybody? Shador should be up there. Is there anybody else?
I don't know about Shador because his sack rate is so high.
Well, that's not his. I mean,
But that you have to look at that.
I still think he should be at like 4 or 5.
Like
maybe
I don't
he
know
doesn't
because
cross
what I was hearing was Bo Nix was like 3rd or 4th right now going
okay,
to
so I say
Washington game.
you're right.
So,
Bo should be 4
so
still.
like
He
with that game
4.
happening, like that's such a close loss that on the road, right, where you had the lead. Like you're not your defense. You didn't give up that fade to the corner. What a great throw, Penix. What a fucking great throw. But Bo Nix won't slide. I think that Corum will still get McCarthy. Do you think McCarthy gets any love? He's been kind of
maybe. I think that it's going to depend on what happens in a couple weeks.
He's going to be considered. He's going to be considered like that gadget player, or what's the term you don't want to?
McCarthy.
Yeah, you don't want.
No, he's a legit QB.
You think so?
He's a top 10.
I don't know, man. I always feel like he's doing more with his leg than his arm.
I've seen another mock draft that had McCarthy going in the top 10. CBS had one that had him going top 10. Well, next week. First game we're going to lead off next week.
What do we got?
It better be motherfucking Penn State, Ohio State. Number 7 Penn State.
Wow,
going
that's a great
into number 3 Ohio State. I think Penn State's got a real shot. Chuck.
I think their defense is legit.
They've just been beating the fucking piss out of people. I really hope that we lead off our next podcast with this game. I hope this game is another Washington Oregon game. Live up to the hype. Number 17 Tennessee's going into Bama. Dude, if Bama
that's a big game. Yes, that's a big game.
It's a huge game. I
think Tennessee can get him. I think Tennessee can get him.
This next game is big, but it might not be as big because I don't think Riley Leonard's playing. He didn't play last week.
Duke. Duke versus who?
Florida State.
Oh, darn, because that would be a good match.
Number 16 Duke.
If Leonard was playing, absolutely.
And I don't think Leonard's playing.
That's unfortunate, dude.
He didn't play last week or this week, so
ankle, right?
Yeah, it's still that ankle. I don't think he's scheduled to come back for this, which is a bummer.
That is a bummer.
And then the last ranked games is number 14 Utah at number 18 USC. USC loses here.
SC better walk all over Utah.
Well, Utah's offense has been showing, but Utah's defense has always given them a fit. Given them a fit. And USC, you can't stop
Rising back? Is Cam Rising back?
I don't know if he's back.
Because that's your Achilles heel, right? He's
always
like 4 out of the 5 times that he's been available to. So some good matchups next week, too, which is excellent. So it's always nice when it works out that way.
Before we move into MLB playoffs,
okay.
Read an article this weekend.
Or
not this week, this week. It was the NIL top 10. I just want to throw this out there.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Go for it.
Number 10, J.J. McCarthy, $1.3 million.
So Michigan.
Tied at number 8 is Bo Nix at 1.4 and Spencer Rattler at 1.4. That name surprised me being on there.
That one does
South Carolina.
Agreed.
Number 7, Angel Reese, LSU basketball, 1.7. Number 6, Travis Hunter, two-way player at Colorado, 2.3. Number 5, I thought he was going to be higher on this list. I was really surprised. Caleb Williams at 2.7. Number 4, hasn't even played a snap yet. Arch Manning at 2.8. Number 3, Liv Dunn. She is killing it at 3.2.
She's a gymnast?
Right?
Yeah.
She is one of the only players on this that doesn't actually technically have like a professional sport. Olympics don't pay you any money. She is killing it. She might actually be one of the richest college athletes because she does 4 years. So she gets an amount of money for 4 years. So, and I think she's a junior, maybe she's a senior, I don't know, but she's getting She's getting 3-2 at number 3.
Get that bag, girl.
Okay, here we go. Number 2, number 1.
No surprise, right?
Shadur Sanders, 4.8. Bronny James at 5.4 or 5.9. I was surprised.
Who read that top one?
Bronny James. I was surprised that he was getting that much at SC. I was. Because he's not like a touted, he wasn't too super high in the range.
It's just the schematics of all of it. It's the LeBron James factor.
Okay, so let's move into something else.
What do we got?
Well, MLB.
Dude, there have been some good playoffs, not the results I wanted. A fucking all AL West AL championship that doesn't include the fucking Mariners.
Dude, so, okay, let's get it. Astros win this series against Twins 3-1. Close games. There were times where not every game was close. I think game 3 was a blow. But even game 4, the deciding game, 3-2, dude, the Twins got to get some bats on balls in those late innings and get some runners on. But the Astros we talked about at the beginning of the season, they just keep fucking winning.
Seven straight AL?
Yeah, they cheated and all that, but they just keep on fucking winning.
They sure do.
Rangers sweep the O's. Rangers just look dominant in that series. Next, so they get each other today, actually. That series starts today.
Dude,
Rangers.
so we are close to the World Series.
Dude, I'm all Rangers. Come on, Simeon. Come on, Seager.
God, dude,
Let's go,
it's the
dude.
lesser of the two evils just because they didn't cheat. Because
Well, and I'm a huge Ranger hater. There's been plenty of I was
sure,
a huge
because you're an AOS fan, so it makes
Well, I'm
sense.
not. Well, no, I don't hate the Rangers.
Oh, I thought you just said
No,
you were a
I'm
huge
not.
Ranger hater. You're
I mean,
not.
I don't
You're
even
not.
necessarily not hate the Mariners. I hate Red Sox and Yankees and stuff like that.
Okay.
The Rangers, I was a huge Pudge fan back in the day. For catcher, I played catcher, so he was one of the best catcher. Yeah.
Pudge Rodriguez, baby. He
So
was
I think you're on the same side, right? We want Rangers in.
Unfortunately, it's the lesser of the two evils. Yeah, I can't support the Astros in the slightest.
Marcus Simeon plays on the Rangers. He was a big A for a little bit the last couple of years, so that's another reason I'm.
It's funny. Max Scherzer gets dealt, and look at him go.
He's hurt though. He might come back for the ALCS.
Look
he
at
might
him go.
come back. NL, dude. D-backs sweep Dodgers. Do you have anything? You don't
I
have
got
anything?
nothing to drink.
D-backs sweep Dodgers. Yeah, baby D-back.
I mean, I would drink to that. I'm a Dodger disliker for alliteration. I have a cousin down who lives in Temecula who is a diehard Dodger fan, and I'm sorry, Misty, because you know that I have a disdain for that.
I do too.
That team. I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. One of the cleanest unis in all of baseball, dude. It's an iconic logo. The blue with the white. I even like the red offset, which kind of looks good. Just that small little red with the numbers. But fuck the Dodgers, right?
My baseball hatred comes from baseball fans.
Sure.
So the reason I don't like baseball
that.
teams is because of fans.
And the Dodgers are
when we're in Reno.
loud.
When the Giants all of a sudden won those every other year,
Sure.
all of a sudden the whole town was a
Everywhere.
fucking Giants fan. And
Absolutely.
nobody wore Giants at any point. So I hate teams because I hate fans. All right, NL. D-back Street Dodgers talked about that. Dude, that Phillies Braves series, there was one blowout game. Every other fucking game was down to the wire, breathtaking. Games in Philadelphia at that fucking stadium at the bank are rocking, dude. I would love to go to a playoff game there.
Citizens Bank?
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy there.
Everything in Philly's crazy. Philly's a crazy sports city. They are true-blooded to their sports team.
So they win 3-1 against the Braves.
They're called the Philadelphia Phillies.
Sorry, Olsen. Sorry, Murphy. I was rooting for you guys.
Braves didn't even really make it a series, y'all.
They close games, but couldn't get through.
Gotta win
every
them.
game
Gotta
was
win
close.
a couple.
So that series between the D-backs at Phillies starts on Monday. I'm kind of pulling for the Phillies because I like Trey Turner. I think I picked the Phillies. I know. I don't think
You did.
I know.
You
I
did.
picked the Phillies winning the World Series.
I'm 0 for 2. I had Braves, Mariners.
I really I like the way Harper plays baseball. I didn't like him when he first came in the league, and I've grown to be a Harper supporter.
I can appreciate that.
Through the watching him play, not supporting the bullshit that's going on the phone.
You're still up 10-3.
What are you hoping Rangers Phillies too, or you get going D-backs? D-backs would be cool because we get the aces.
Doesn't matter to me in the NL. My company, my parent company that I work for is based out of Philly. So if the Phils win, that's good for what's good for the goose is good for the gander kind of thing. NL doesn't bother me. Anybody but the Astros. Literally anybody but the Astros at this point.
I do too.
It's kind of what I'm
too.
And I will watch the World Series.
Oh yes, even if the Astros Rangers don't fucking
whoever it is, it's the chip. I always watch. You gotta watch the chip. You gotta watch the chip.
Talk about chips.
Coming back.
We forgot to mention last week. Sorry, everybody.
We did drop the puck.
Hockey
didn't drop the puck.
Hockey started 10-10. Knights hung the banner. Got the dub on opening night as well.
No, against who?
I don't know. Who did they?
I believe it was the Kraken.
I don't remember who you guys played.
I want to say it was the Kraken because you knocked us out of the playoffs last year.
Good.
God damn it.
But hockey season starting. You guys check it out. If you're not a hockey fan,
Get there.
Just watch some games.
I'm going to circle back to that because I have a lot that I kind of want to touch on the hockey front. So shout out to the NHL. ESPN picked it up. A lot more games are going to be.
Yes,
a lot more
watch
accessible.
it, dude. It's not as hard to
accessible.
find. It's not as hard to find.
It's a great
like
game.
Chuck said.
Fun game.
Just give it a couple. Find something to like about. Just find a team and just sit and watch. It's intense. NBA starts 10/24 next week.
We are there, man. Preseason is hot and heavy. I haven't heard of any major.
Oh,
injuries.
I got one for you.
Let's go for it.
It was going to be our common sense, but we got something else to talk about. Dylan Brooks got ejected in the first preseason game with the Rockets.
Punched a dude in the wang, hang dang.
That dude's such. So we are going to have a list. We're going to have a Balls and Brews player shit list. James Harden and Dylan Brooks are easily on our shit list.
They're up there, and this is non-biased to sports. Like, it's not just basketball shit list. They
just happen to be the two dudes that are irritating the fuck out of us at this moment.
I would agree with that. I mean,
both of them.
I've never liked Harden to begin with, and this whole the trust is lost in Philly.
Yeah, I don't.
But I want to play. I really wanted to end my career here in Morey's. Blah blah blah. It's all drama. It's all boo-boo. Like,
it's easier to not like basketball players sometimes, though, because they're whinier.
They're so diva-ish. It's because there's so few of them. Like, the All-Star, there's only so many that are really difference makers in the NBA because the rosters are only 13 players.
Correct.
You have fucking 70 in the NFL between active and practice squad. So same with baseball. You
next week, we'll be looking at doing the Balls and Brews pick, and we'll go through, pick what we think is going to happen. Obviously, we'll try to pull a playoff. We'll give you our champs, what we think. So we'll give you a big NBA could be a huge topic next week with.
It should be moving forward for the regular season. Kind of get a little outlook. Like it's too funny. We started this pod on the backbone of really wanting to do football, but when we first started, football was dormant, and we got a lot of good basketball talk in. And now that season's swinging back, man, we're gonna have to go back.
There's a lot of movement, a
lot of good storylines.
We liked what a lot of teams did.
A lot of good storylines.
So check us out, NBA. Big NBA thing next week, but check out hockey, you guys. Check it out. It's fun to watch. We're going to come back with a talk about who won in the first half of today's games, the 10 o'clock hour, and then kind of talk about what's going on in the 1 o'clock hour, and then preview what Monday night might look like as well.
Sunday night, and absolutely. Unfortunately, you guys, our tickets already busted. The Niners lost to Cleveland. I'm sorry, before we even go, we'll revisit all of this, but you guys stay tuned because the Niners lost. They are 5-1. Seattle lost a heartbreaker. There's some really good football to report on.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that.
My Super Bowl pick, one team's looking really hot, my other team is looking like shit. We'll come back and talk to you guys about some football.
Excellent.
Welcome back to Balls and Brews, the Z and C show.
It is a little stuttering. Z and C. Cheers.
Cheers, pal. Wow, that's got. What are we drinking, Chuck? That's got a lot of flavor.
It sure does, doesn't it? All right, so Bok Bagok.
Bok Bagok?
Yeah,
sounds like a fucking chicken.
That's exactly the point. No, I don't know where that came from. But yeah, no, okay, so
Bok Bagok. It's a funny one.
Hilarious. It's one of the reasons that I got pulled to it because it's a local favorite. We've shouted out this brewery. This is my favorite in town. Imbibe.
Sure.
So obviously, judging by the name, it is a Bock or a Doppelbock, which means it's a Marzen, which means it's close. It's like a German brown ale.
I like Marzens. Marzens?
Yes.
I like Marzens.
Correct. Yeah. So they're definitely more on the malty side. Still a little bit of wheat, not a lot of hops, but still, as you can see, so the color of the beer is beautiful. Pours a nice mahogany. Carries a little bit of head, but not a lot, because it's actually 9%, which is 9%. Very high for a Bock. Very high for a Bock.
I was not ready for 9%.
I agree. No, when I actually read it the second time around, I was like, oh wow, okay, here we go. So shout out as always to Imbibe. I was just in the area doing some shopping around the brewery because they have one in the Legends outlet. So
do they really?
They sure do. Yeah, they have a big one out there in the back of the complex by the back of Shields. So kind of whenever I'm in that area or if I'm doing anything, I think of us and I'm just like, I'll swing in and grab something. They always, everything, lights, darks, in-betweens, doesn't matter what you want. They pour a great beer through and through.
It's a good beer, and I think everyone you've brought has been a very good beer from that distillery.
Absolutely.
From that distributor, so.
Brewery,
yes.
Thank you, Imbibe. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start our Week 6 off with the review because we're about halfway. We're definitely through morning games, and we're about halfway through afternoon games. So we'll start with the International Series, which was the Ravens taking down the Titans 24-16. The last one in London, in Tottenham.
Yeah, basically, taken away from this game, Tannehill gets hurt.
Malik Willis comes in and throws
Willis
4
comes
for
in.
5. It's not terrible.
Ravens offense still doesn't seem like anything special.
At one point, they were up like 18-3. They almost blew this game. Like, they almost let the Titans come back late. So, once again, two very confusing teams. Even though I was high on the Ravens, I thought they were going to come out of the AFC. The way that they've won some games, but never convincing. Not a single convincing win.
I think the Titans are this team. They got a win a couple weeks ago. It was a big win.
Right.
But I don't think they're much more than this team.
Right. You think they're kind of that. Well, I know we can't have a 500 team anymore, but basically that mushy middle. Yep. Sure, I agree with that.
Maybe get the 7 wins type now. You see.
Next up is the Washington Commanders.
Talk about fucking
traveling
confusing teams,
to Atlanta.
Talk about confusing fucking teams.
24-16 Washington football team.
Each week, right? One's this way, one's this way, one's this way, one's last week. Falcons look great. Ritter throws for a bunch of yards. He threw pretty good this week. Had some picks though. And then this week, Commanders come out. They look good. It's like what defense shows up for the Commanders.
Any given Sunday, dude. It is weird. It's
another two teams that were looking probably that 8-9 range.
Right in that weird, awkward middle of the range. But no, great game. Like Sam Howell once again looked good, not great, but good. Like, which is really weird. They're going to be in an odd predicament later in the year if he keeps playing like this, which is good enough to get some wins and potentially contend for a wild card. So you're drafting
so do you fall
like
back?
17, 16, 17-ish, right in the middle. So
same with the Falcons, though. They could be in that exact same area where they get like maybe they win their division at that weird 8-9 mark because the Saints don't seem like they want to block a soul. So
that NFC South is a little lost right now.
So
Panthers got whacked.
So the Falcons could still drop back pretty far in the draft too, in the same position by just winning the division.
That is true too. That is very true. Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll go ahead and run up next up just because it's in line. So.
Probably if we went by one of the games of the week, this would probably been up there on one of the top games.
I appreciate for sure. As the overall impact of where both of these teams could be at the end of the season, yeah. So we're talking Seattle travels to Cincinnati, and they get stymied multiple times in the red zone, and we lose 13-17. We had every opportunity in the world to win this game, you guys.
Geno Smith, a couple picks.
Joe Burrow played well. He really did. He at one point had 15 straight completions. Like, he was lighting us up pretty good, but he didn't kill us. What killed us was our offensive line finally folded. Hubbard and Henderson and they were just everywhere. Hendrickson, sorry, yeah. They were madmen today. Like they shut a lot of shit down, and we shut down Jamar Chase pretty well. T. Higgins didn't do anything. Tyler Boyd had a touchdown, but somebody's gonna get something out there. But overall, it was us not getting it done on offense. We only scored 13 points. We only gave up 17. We only came away with 1 field goal and 1 touchdown and 5 red zone trips. There were 3 red zone trips where we got zilch. A pick, turnover on downs. Like, we did not, in winning time, in the time that matters the most, from 20 inward is when it matters the most. And as soon as it got to and goal, we were stymied. So I hate to say it, but the Bengals are doing what they need to do and what they've done the last couple of seasons.
Looks like they kind of come back to where they are.
Joe Burrow looked healthy enough. He's only going to they have their bye week this week, so he's really going to be fine going into would that be week 8 by the time he comes back?
Yeah, and his calves look a lot more healthy. He looks a little bit more mobile in the pocket. He's able to drive the ball down the field as well.
Note, and this is a bad note, but Seattle's lost 4 straight games coming out of their bye, 4 straight years. We have not been able to win.
Is that
which is weird because we were coming on a 3-game win streak.
Is that on preparation? Is that on what's that on? Is that on not watching film?
Is that the loss of flow because you don't hit somebody for a week? Is that it? I don't know.
People like Andy Reid is like
it's
undefeated
weird.
Coming out.
Shout out to Jamal Adams though. Got through healthy, made a couple of key plays, that like we miss traditionally. The swing route tackle, you know what I'm talking about, where you get the guy in the open field and you got a defender and you're like, make this tackle. If you miss it, he's getting 7 to 10 yards every time. We 90% of the time miss that. Jamal Adams didn't miss that tackle. Shout out to that. So it's another come to moment right there for the Seahawks. I think that both of those teams, obviously, you're going to see Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. They're going to, be in the thick of things. And I think that was a great game. It was on the road. It went to Bengals. They just played better on defense when they needed to. They bended, but they did not break in the red zone. They gave up very little points, and we got to get better there. Our third down efficiency was better. Overall, it's not the worst game Seattle's ever played, but Gino, you gotta pull the streak, bro. When you gotta throw it. You've been holding on to the ball too long. He held on to the ball a lot today, and he got crushed. And loss. That's a loss. Up next, we're gonna go ahead and this is a preseason high team for Downey right here. Go ahead.
Jags 37. Colts 20 in Jacksonville. Jags came out and they just look like now they're on a 2-game roll. I know they've won 3, but they've really looked good in the last 2.
Gotcha.
They said there's reports coming out that said that them spending 2 weeks over there in London brought them tighter as a team because it wasn't like they're going home to hang out with family. They have anybody else to hang out with. So I think the Jags are on the right step. Bad news, Anthony Richardson could be done for the year.
They're saying he should be, because even if he tries to heal naturally, it's going to take so long. By the time he can come back, the season's going to be lost anyway. So why not get the actual surgical repair and do it the long way rather than trying to do it? Because gosh darn it, man. He was such the interesting prospect this year.
He's kind of been fired when he's been in the game.
He just gets hit a lot. He's just a big boy who thinks he can take all the contact, but then these are grown men who are hitting him too. So it's a big win for the Jags to just keep racking up the wins, and try especially AFC South.
Correct.
Minshew threw 3 picks, not very good.
Can't do that as a backup. As a backup, you got to
can't do that as a quarterback.
Right, but as a backup, you got to try to maintain. You got to try to defense.
You got to be a game manager.
Control the clock. Next game, not a surprise on the score check. You don't think so?
No.
Dolphins 42, Panthers 21.
Started out 14-0 Panthers, and I was like, oh, hey, maybe the Panthers have woken up a little bit, and then stymied the rest of the game.
Well, given Tyreek Hill one-on-ones.
Track meet. Raheem Mostert was great again today.
On fire. Bad news, Dolphins. That rookie out of Texas A&M, Devin Chain, is now done for at least 4 games.
Right, he's on the IR. Correct.
So that's a bummer for them. I mean, he's been very electric.
Mostert stepped up, though. And the scary thing was, to be fair, we didn't touch on this on our last one, was Lawrence got hurt at the end of that Jaguars game.
Oh, that's right.
You gotta be on the mind. They didn't say anything serious. I haven't heard anything serious, but look at the Raiders up 16-10.
Yeah, kicked a field goal. Hoyer missed Devontae wide open, threw it somewhere else, and then Garoppolo's not coming back. But for some reason, the Raiders went to Hoyer over O'Connell. I'm thinking because O'Connell is a 3. I don't know. We'll see.
So Miami looked good again. Like, it was a complete victory. Outside of obviously starting a little slow, but once they got a hold of the game, they never looked back. 5-1. That AFC East at the top is pretty thick. Next up, what a boo-boo game. Vikings versus the Bears, and the Vikings pull it out 19-13.
For their
Justin Fields
ends
win? Yes. So they're 2-4. Justin Fields ends up leaving this game. We had some serious
hand
injuries.
Injury.
Yeah, not good. To his throwing hand or to his non-throwing hand?
I don't remember which hand it was.
Fair enough.
But
Either way, it was enough to keep him out.
He landed on a sack.
Which means it could be wrist. Yeah, hand, wrist area, that whole shebang. So, Chicago, bad. Minnesota wasn't much better. They did just enough to beat a bad team, so I wouldn't be confident about this, you know what I mean? Especially with Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson's out and you get the win. That's kind of helpful. Addison
Shout out to Jordan Addison. I was about to say that kid has played very, very well. For all of the rookie wide receivers, I would say he's made the biggest impact on his team.
I think so, too. I mean, there's some other kids like that. Rice from
yeah, but he hasn't done
we're off camera talking.
Addison has like 4 or 5 tutties already. Like, he's every time I watch a Minnesota game, he gets at least one. But both of those teams are not like a deal. Minnesota, be a seller at this trade deadline, because you have to realize that it's done. You don't have a long-term deal at quarterback with Cousins. You're not going to get it. You've cut your all-pro fucking running back, who's now decent in New York. I can't believe he fell off as much as he has. Yeah, exactly. But Minnesota, you got to understand it's now. Now is the time to flip the script, and you have a young coach who has shown his ability. And it's not to say that Kirk Cousins is a shit quarterback, but if he's not your dude, then you gotta figure it out.
I also don't think that. I think that with his contract coming up, they'll be looking to draft.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yeah. No. If they're a top 10, they're gonna find a way to make. If they have to package to move up a couple of spots or whatever, like. They are clearly going to need a quarterback next season, and it's not because Kirk Cousins is terrible. Just it's been weird. The Kirk Cousins Minnesota era just doesn't make sense. If you look at the stats, you're like, wow, he must have won a lot of games, and you're like, well, yeah, but
it just was never anything special.
It never translated to like postseason success. They got further with Case Keenum the year before they signed Kirk Cousins. They thought he was going to get them over the hump. They went to the NFC Championship game and came damn close to win. No, actually, they got blown out. I'm sorry. They got blown out that year by the Eagles. That was the Eagles. That was their year of destiny with Nick Foles.
Next game, probably the biggest surprise.
Oh, my God. Oh, wow. I wish Trevor was here for this.
The Niners go into Cleveland and lose to the Browns 17-19.
Okay, come on. With who's starting at quarterback?
P.J. Walker. Deshaun Walker's got some bruise in his rotator cuff that they say it's only pain. That's a whole different situation about how...
But the fact of the matter is you didn't have your starting quarterback and you beat the only... Well, not the only undefeated, but...
You beat the team that everybody
thought I was high on.
I was too.
As a Seahawk fan, I hate to say that, but like, gosh darn, man, that team checked the eye test.
You can't help but say that they were easily the best. And
sure, they were beating on people.
And offensively, looked very pedestrian offense. P.J. Walker had some big drives. I mean, how you let P.J. Walker go down and score a couple times, but missed 2 field goals.
Obviously, a huge difference when you only lose by 2. In that game, what would have been the game winning, it was only a 41-yarder. It was a very makeable field goal.
They said the winds were swirling in that stadium all day.
I don't know, man. I think that's more mental than physical right there. He's a rook. He's never had to, do the big... He's never been asked to be hit in a spot like that just yet. Maybe in Michigan, maybe in his collegiate career, because I know that he played at Michigan, which they were in some big battles, Anyway, that is a... You could have asked me 100 times out of 100, I would have said San Francisco was going to win that game.
Me too.
There was no scenario where I thought with Deshaun Watson being out, the Browns would win that game. So
me too.
Money, we will, drink for you here.
I won't.
He won't. Condolences.
Not condolences. Fucking they lost.
Fuck the Niners. Hey, I hope you're having a great time out there, Money, in Yellowstone. It's a beautiful fucking place in this country.
Last morning game is the Saints were at the Texans and lost 20-13. The Saints just have no offensive. Carr threw for like 350.
They're such a confusing fucking team. The Saints are so weird. They come out and smack the Patriots and the very following week they just fumble to a first year head coach and a rookie quarterback.
Right.
Dennis Allen's not the guy.
I don't think so. I picked them to go Super Bowl, but I also don't think that offensive line has been very good. The offensive line has been very disappointing. Every time I flip on a thing, they're collapsing the pocket.
Sure.
The car's really got nowhere to go.
So we're doing a little scroll down. I want to do a little callback to the Thursday nighter, right? So it was an AFC West matchup between the Broncos and the Chiefs. Yeah, the Broncos are bad, and it's not. I don't know what the one contributing factor is. Sean Payton hasn't seemed to do. Is Vance Joseph? But that defense is bad. How did they go from a top 5 unit to bottom?
It's not good defensively, and it's not good offensively. He had a lot of balls batted down at the line on Thursday.
And they're fire selling again. Frank Clark is out after playing only 2 games.
Randy Gregory's already gone.
Yeah,
they're looking at Judy being gone, Sutton being gone.
Yeah, at least they're doing what I think Minnesota should do, where it's kind of ignore. But at the same time, you do have Justin Jefferson. How do you? Oh man. You know what he said? I'm not going to sign my contract until I see what Kirk Cousins does.
Correct.
How crazy is that? What happens if Cousins? Cousins is going to leave, right? Or they're going to deal him or something. There's no way.
They're not signing him.
Right. You would have. Any team in the NFL is going to ink. If you are the guy, you're not getting to the end of your contract, right?
No,
like
did
that's
that
not
extension year before.
1 year, 2 years. Like we had, Herbert got thrown a bag as soon as he pretty much could.
Right.
Like, so we're gonna get into the games currently going on right now, as it is. 3:20
So
Pacific Standard Time.
A lot of these games about Raiders game. We'll start with the Raider game.
That's
they
the one
got
we're
a
watching.
minute 15. Yeah, that's the one we're watching. Minute 15 in the third. Raiders up 16-10. No Garoppolo. Raiders offenses look shaky.
Hoyer
Again,
hasn't looked terrible.
Warriors look better than
Couple
Garoppolo.
of decent throws. Couple of decent throws. Downfield, pushing it.
But like I said last week about when you are the head coach and the side of the ball that you are supposed to be good at isn't good, it probably means that you're not a very good head coach. Not saying that Josh McDaniels can be, but right now, how do we that bad offensively when me and Chuck literally sit here and talk about the weapons of Adams, Myers,
Who's having a step out game right now, by the way.
Mayer being an up and coming tight end, Jacobs as your running back, White as a backup back, and so I just don't know how you don't score more points. So Raiders up right now, should get a win, should be 3-3, should be 4-2, but gave away the Steelers.
You gotta stop. You gotta stop looking back.
But,
dude. I should have beat the Bengals today. I'm 3-2.
Again, like Chuck said with his team, turnovers and third down mistakes.
Poor red zone play.
Third down mistakes for the Raiders this year. Romo said it like 3 or 4 times on the fucking broadcast about watching film and being like, dude, this Raiders team's pretty good, but they shoot themselves in third down all the time, and they're third and long.
Can't have that.
So that's that one. Next game is a game we bet. Lions 10, Buck 6.
They were, yep. The Lions were having to do 3.5. Was it 3.5? 2.5. 2.5, 3.5?
Something like
Somewhere
that.
around there.
But I really think the Lions are going to take the step. I'm very surprised. If we did most surprises of the year, Buccaneers would be very high on my most surprises.
I can't disagree with that. I thought they were going to win 3. I think I had them at 3 and 14.
I think I had them at 6 because
I
thought their defense was
I thought they were aging. I thought they were past their prime on
Evans
defense.
has played like a fucking top
He's
receiver, dude.
He's a stud.
I love that
Put
guy.
some respect on that guy's name, for real.
I love that guy.
I mean, that guy is a 1,000-yard machine, and you don't ever hear about him enough.
Well, he isn't out there making noise.
And ain't nothing wrong with that either. It's nice to kind of not have the diva fucking
I like
receiver,
Mike Evans.
right?
I've liked him since he's
Shout.
come in the league. So Lions still looking like a good playoff team. They got to get the win here, though.
He got Johnny Manziel drafted as high as he did, pretty much. I mean, come on, man.
I think the Lions need a win here to kind of separate them. They had a big win last week.
That NFC North is basuda right now.
But I think just getting another win here just gets them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously the Bucs being 3-1 need a win to just stay
10-6 right now. That's an interesting game.
A lot of time left. This game, the Raiders game just ended third quarter. This game still got 7:39 left. So a lot of time left.
Well, the one clock kick versus the 1:25 kick, or the 4 o'clock and the 4:25. No, that half an hour can make a big difference. All depends on game plans of the teams as well. If you're running the ball,
Raiders and Patriots both run the ball
a lot. Yeah, for sure, especially with Garoppolo.
Next game, I'm glad the score's this way. I don't know if you are. I kind of like the Rams as a Stafford fan.
I don't want to say I like the Rams at all because they're NFC West. I don't like this matchup.
Rams are up 13-9 at home right now. And the Cardinals are a fighter. Fuck, that's on the coach, right? If you're a fighter, that goes back to your coach.
It is surprising because coming into this season, nobody gave Jonathan Gannon a lick.
And every game, right?
Scrapping. Now they got bopped by the Niners. That's a good team. They've definitely gotten, but they've been feisty. They've been in most games. They've lost most of their games by only 1 possession or less. For a team that
everybody said was the less talented team.
And they signed their starting quarterback technically 5 days before the start of the regular season or some shit.
Yeah,
Josh Jobs just came in and was like, well, I'm starting now. It's like, wait, what?
I know. I kind of wish they were going to give the kid from Houston the shot.
Clayton Tune?
Yeah, but it is cool to see Josh Jobs come in and play that well.
Sure, but overall now, so the Cardinals just got the ball back. Just only down by a possession.
7:30 left in the third quarter, too.
So a lot of football, sure. But, Arizona, way to play above your pay grade, as it were. Way to really put something out there that you can be proud of. There's no moral losses or whatever, what they call, like there's no good losses, but if you to be able to go out there and consistently be competitive and come close, be within a possession to win games, and yeah, it sucks losing them, but like when you're expected to be the bottom feeders, once again, I think I gave them a 3-14, 4-13 record. I thought they were going to be bad, and they technically haven't won a lot of games, but
they've been better.
A lot better. They're passing the eye test in a way that I didn't think they would.
Last game of the afternoon schedule was looked to be a very big game at the beginning of the season, mainly because of the quarterback situation.
Right.
Eagles at Jets. Eagles are only up 14-9, and Jets have ball.
Hold on.
I don't want to say that Zach Wilson is now a starting quarterback, but he isn't being a problematic quarterback. He's not throwing a ton of picks. He's making better decisions with the football. Okay. As of lately, he's not winning games, but he's not losing them right now. But they aren't good offensively. They don't have an offensive line. Elijah Vera Tucker, done for the fucking season.
Wait, I didn't hear that one.
Yep. That happened. Last week. Oh, wow. Got hurt last weekend, done for the season.
Tough. That's his second major injury, right?
Yep, he is out of USC. He's a Pro Bowl guard,
right?
But a serviceable tackle, so he can play both. But if they could, that's the one thing the Jets don't have going for them. They have no fucking offensive line.
Right.
Which with Aaron, is it going to be?
I was going to say, is that not indicative of exactly what happened the first drive of their season?
But even with Aaron, would it be any better with Aaron because how bad that offensive line is?
No, that's what I'm saying. No, he got murdered, and he would have continued to have gotten murdered. Like, it's unfortunate that you have all of this skill. It's such a conundrum when you have great skill players and no offensive line, or you have a great offensive line and very few skill players. Like, it can go both ways, and it's frustrating either way. But like, the bad offensive line traditionally means your quarterback's harassed a lot more. It's harder to get the running game going. Like, but it's hard to hit on offensive linemen. A lot of teams draft a lot of different offensive linemen all the time. It doesn't hit. You can use pick after pick and not get the right guys, right?
Yeah, it's
speaking of no offensive line. The Sunday night is between it's a battle of New York teams, and only one of them actually plays in New York. New York, the Giants are traveling to Buffalo.
This will be a fucking blowout.
Daniel
Jones will start. Neck's hurt.
Saquon's game time decision.
That poor fucking kid's been hit so many fucking times.
It's been like 66 times he's already been hit. Like,
between you guys and the next game too, that poor kid.
Yeah.
Bills should blow this game out. Shouldn't even be a game. This is going to be a love fest of Josh Allen, hopefully with Collinsworth tonight.
Now here's a guy.
I don't think this is a game, Chuck. I think this is bad.
Can't disagree with you.
Real fucking cool.
I can't disagree with you. I think that Buffalo takes the early lead and they just more or less bleed clock through 3 quarters. I say they're pretty much by the end of the first quarter, you have a grasp on it. Now, football, okay?
It can.
There are turnovers that can happen.
But I don't think this is not.
If the talent is on one side of the ball right now. Like, Dayball's funny. Won, Coach of the Year last year with the coaching job that he did and got him into the playoffs. And this team has regressed to the nth degree. So I can't see the Giants even really keeping this close. Yeah, that is very true. I was much higher on the Giants.
Let's go.
I thought they were going to be a playoff team.
Let's go to the Monday night game, which should be a really good fucking game.
Right, this is a pod pick.
Cowboys at Chargers. I know. You took Cows, right?
I did because yeah, no.
It's a pick 'em. It's 1.5.
Yeah, and I just think that after getting whacked by the Niners, I think that the Dallas is going to come down there, and it's going to be a home game for Dallas because those fans always travel great. And whenever you play in LA, there's like no Charger fans, so it'll be all Cowboys fans.
As a football fan, I know I'm a Raider fan, but as a football fan, I love watching Justin Herbert play.
He's a great quarterback. He's a great quarterback. He's got one of the prettiest deliveries, one of the smoothest releases.
It looks so
right
good,
now.
doesn't it?
Yeah, when he steps into his throw, you're like, it's
I literally love watching that dude play quarterback.
Agreed.
So I think the Chargers are going to win the game. I know we need a pod pick, but I do.
Technically, right now it doesn't matter because we already blew it. But
I think the Chargers might get a dub here. If the Chargers don't get a dub here, that is going to hurt. I know that maybe the Raiders get a win at 3-3, and now the Chargers would be at 2-4 or 2-3 because they had the bye last week. I still think that the Chargers need a win in this game for the division and because of the fact that the AFC is so fucking good.
Thick. It is, and unfortunately, you've got to contend with KC. They have ran that division for years. It looks like they're obviously going to run away with again this year. Like, there's nobody on that level. Mahomes is going to keep that team relevant as long as he's there. That guy
doesn't matter if he throws like a couple picks, if his stats aren't good, dude. He's a fucking winner. He does stuff. He makes that defense play better just because his name is Patrick Mahomes. We're like, dude, we just got to give him the ball. If we get him the ball, he's gonna make something happen. He makes that whole team better by the fact of who he is. And the fact that they love playing for that coach.
One of the greatest throws I've ever seen in my life was an incompletion when he was fucking he's parallel. Sideways and the ball hits Tyreek Hill in the head. So it got to where it needed to go. Parallel. 45, 50 yards down the field. Yeah, his body is flat, dude. It is insane. Like, that man, normally I hate on current day GOATs, if you will, because you pretty much got to put Mahomes in like the best current day quarterback conversation.
Mahomes is in the GOAT quarterback.
He's really building a legacy, and traditionally I hate that, and especially on a Kansas City Chief team. Like, but goddamn, is he fun to watch?
Score update: Lions up 17-9 now. Lions just scored a touchdown, and Raiders kicked another field goal to go up 19-10.
That's a 2-score game. That's big.
We're going to take a break. We're going to come back in segment 3 and highlight some big matchups for next week. We're not going to talk about every game. Big matchups NFL-wise, and then we'll roll right into Common Sense and Fandom in that segment as well.
Yeah.
We got a good Common Sense this week, kind of more of a conversation talking piece. We think it's Common Sense. Really like to hear what you guys think about it, and then I'm going to piss him on my Fandom, and Chuck's going to be happy.
I'm a little bit happier in this one, right? So it's going to be a nice balance for the rest of the show.
So we'll see you after break.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
Welcome back to Balls and Brews. Segment 3, we're going to review the upcoming week. Cheers, Charlie.
We went through the games before we started recording, and we decided there's ones that are actually meaningful to touch on. We're not going to touch on the boo-boo ones, just the good shit.
No, but, tackling the open field's a hell of a fucking thing if you can do it.
It's harder than it looks.
All right, so
dude, this is good. I like this beer.
This is a really good beer. I've been drinking faster. I'm getting more flavors.
Sure. Absolutely. Gotta let that open up. All right. So first game we're gonna go ahead and run on here.
Actually, the Thursday night game is a big game. We think, and we'll explain why.
Simply because there's a lot on the line for these teams within their divisions. So it's gonna be the Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to the New Orleans Saints, and it's because the Jags are heating up, and that AFC South is theirs to take. And the Saints need to keep pace in that very bizarre NFC
very
South.
Weird South. Yeah. Very mediocre South.
So the South, AFC South, NFC South.
Jags stay hot here. I think can get the win. I don't know if the Saints can block.
I don't know what the Saints can do.
Defensive good.
Right.
353.
But that offense, I don't understand it. I don't get it. It has to be the offensive line.
How do you throw for 353 and only have 13 points, Chuck? Is that what the final score was?
Today? Yeah, 13? No, they had it was 17-20. No, yeah, they had 17 points.
So
17-27, I'm sorry.
Throwing for 353.
And 17 points. Yeah, bizarre. They're one of the strangest teams in the league.
Is that play calling not executing on third down?
Well, Dennis Allen is just not the coach, right?
He's defensive side, so you're relying on your offense.
But
the defense side of the ball is really good for the Saints.
They have been for a while, and he's kept it. He's kept the ship right on that for sure. Absolutely. So the next one that we talked about that we thought would be a real one to highlight, we're going to skip a few, is we're going to go to the Lions at 4-1 are traveling to Baltimore to see the 4-2 Ravens.
Is this game of the week 2?
I mean, there's one that's coming up that we're going to touch on. There's a couple that are, maybe 3. I think maybe 3.
Oh, dude, that should have been a pick.
We'll have to, that live tape. Ravens.
I think on the Lions getting this win.
The Lions need this one more.
Really shows that they're on top of the league, but the Ravens haven't shelled out. We thought the Ravens' offense would be better, and it's been very mediocre.
Monken's been fair so far as a coordinator. Hasn't really highlighted Andrews, which is crazy because he's a hell of a pass catcher.
Yes,
he's been odd in Baltimore this year.
Yeah, so I think this is a big game for both of them because the Bengals are heating up. So the Ravens got to stay on task here. And then the Lions just need to show that they are what they are, that they're top dogs.
Well, yeah, no, that NFC North is there for the taking. It is right for them. They already have tiebreakers in place, beating the Vikings. Like they're good to go there. They need to really seize this opportunity. They have a really good roster. Who knows if they get Gibbs has been out? He might come back. Almiral just made a big play. Is what I just got an update on.
He's a stud, dude.
There you go. Yeah. There's a lot going on there in Detroit to like. Next game we're going to highlight stays in the NFC South, and it's because these two teams just are very surprising, and I think that one more so than the other. One's currently playing right now against the Lions, the Buccaneers. It's the Falcons traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers.
It just kind of goes with the Saints thing. If the Saints win, all of a sudden they're 4-3. Now you got the Falcons. If they win, they're 4-3. But if then the Bucs are losing now, which would make them 3-2.
Right.
So if they lose this, they're 3-3. It's the NFC South is going to be so back and forth all year.
Those three anyway.
Every division game.
The Panthers are kind of out of it, right? They're now 0-6.
Yes, I think the top, not top three teams. The top three teams.
Has Frank Reich? He's just not the guy anymore, right? He needs to go back to even being a coordinator or some sort of coach, but not a head coach.
Maybe
right? Like
I don't know if
position coach.
I don't know how well that offensive line. I think,
but it doesn't matter. All you see is that 0-6 record, right? Like
I think he gets at least one.
Frank Reich, you think he gets the whole season?
Yeah, and then he gets one more.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know, man. It's been rough.
It's
been real rough in Carolina so far.
With how much they've overturned the team roster-wise, I think they are going to get...
So who do you take to win that? Let's go. Let's just give me a little prediction. Falcons, Bucks.
Falcons at Bucks.
Right.
I think...
I know it's tough.
I almost...
No spreads. We don't have spreads yet.
I almost want to lean Bucks because of the way the defense is playing, and I can't quite trust Ritter over more of the fact that the Bucks' defense is better than the Falcons' defense.
And Mayfield's seen more football than Ritter, so probably less turnover prone kind of thing, maybe.
I don't know what that fucking guy either, Mayfield.
That's true. That's very true. Next up, that we're gonna skip quite a few games that are like just right in the middle of the pack. A lot of mushy middle stuff. Like, I mean, you got Steelers at the Rams that could be a good game, but who really knows about those two teams? Cardinals at the Seahawks. Like, I mean, I love my Hawks, but I'm not going to deep dive into that. Like
Raiders, Bears. I mean,
all of these are games that could be, but could more than likely not be. So let's go into some good ones here. Chargers and Chiefs. So if the Chargers get a win Monday night at home against the Cowboys, they're not necessarily in contention. They are in contention for the AFC West because the Chiefs do have that one loss. You need this win.
But you need to stay in contention in the AFC.
That too.
That
wild card is going to be 10-7, 11-6.
That's more of what the Chargers are looking for. Yes, the West is a thing, but
because they're still right now. Okay, so if they win, and they become 3-2, and they play the 5-1 Chargers. Or the Chiefs, I'm sorry.
Then it puts you in contention.
It puts you, and you get that game, it puts you a half game back. So you're right there. Like, Chargers got a lot in front of them. Brandon Staley, fucking figure it out, man.
He's got a couple.
We've been very critical of you on this pod, and it will continue to be so until you get that roster.
He's on our shit list with Hart.
I would put him on a shit list. I mean, not on the I really dislike him. I put him on the shit list on the fact that
he's on the Balls and Brews shit list with Harden and Dylan.
Yeah, no, due to the idea that like he upsets me. I don't like when he calls games. It does not. Sometimes it irritates the shit out of me. He puts his team in vulnerable positions, and a lot of times they don't come out on top.
Even in the division, I'm like pissed off that they're not better just because you got Justin Herbert. It's kind of weird.
There's so much good talent on that team. And then the last one is
game of the week.
Yeah, this is a bang on.
I think it's
especially with the Eagles in front of the Jets right now, and Miami winning.
Go for it. Tell them who it is, but then
The Dolphins are traveling to Philly, which this is a Sunday nighter, so it's going to be cold. You know, Miami, those teams, warm weather teams traveling to a cold state at night, like that plays into Philly for sure. So Dolphins at Eagles.
God, this is so interesting. Dolphins offensive line being they're not good, but they're not bad.
In Miami?
Yes.
Okay.
The offensive line that's against defensive line that we
when they're on. Now Carter didn't play. He's not playing today.
And the Eagles today necessarily aren't putting on a fucking show
14-9, nothing insane.
So this game's huge. I think this game is huge on kind of like the Niners going and losing today. Did the Eagles lose a game like this because they just don't come out?
No, because this is not a backup. No,
No,
this is
still-
Miami
still-
at full force.
Right, but it's still a loss. That you don't
This
come
is
out
a
to.
potential Super Bowl matchup. Like, these are two very, very high contending teams right here. Like, let's not get it twisted. Like, Miami did get smacked by Buffalo and kind of brought them back down to earth, but like, that was one game. Like, Miami consistently has been very good this year, and obviously the Eagles haven't played their best football, but winning is winning is winning. Like,
A 5-0 is 5-0.
absolutely, you are what your record says you are in this league, right? Especially because you don't have 82 or 162 games for that matter. You have fucking 17. It was 16 for many years. Hell,
sorry.
off is 8.
3rd and goal, held them, so maybe if they'll go 4th and goal.
No, 4th and goal. No, they gotta go for this.
Yeah,
they have the
but there's
ball,
a
right? And
flag.
there's a flag on the defense.
I think Crosby's gonna get hit
How many
for.
timeouts? They got 3. They could kick it deep.
Crosby
If
just got
they
hit.
score here, they could kick it deep.
Crosby just got hit for personal foul on the quarterback.
Jets kicked a field goal.
But that's the highlights of the good games coming up. You never know. Any game could be
No,
good.
all football can be good football, but I'm not going to sit here and talk about the teams that are 1-5 and 1-4 and like. There's a lot of potential. They're professional athletes. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, like once again, the Niners got beat by the Browns, backup by P.J. Walker today. Now he didn't have a great game, so it must have been that defense that really harassed. Purdy only had 120
defense
yards
was on fire
or something.
I watched a little bit of that one.
Yeah,
Cleveland's
Purdy
defense
kind
was
of
on
came
fire.
back down to earth finally.
Christian was hurt. He's got an oblique.
That's his
strain.
first regular season loss. Welcome to reality, Purdy.
Oblique strain
Like,
for CMC. So
that sucks. He's one of the best overall players in the NFL, regardless of position. He's one of the best football players that we have. So you want to see guys like that stay healthy. Although Shanahan, he touches the ball 25 times a game after I'm gonna monitor his snap count, whatever. That never happened, but I can't also not blame you for putting him out on the field. He's one of the most electric people I've ever seen. But there you go, man. Week 7, right? So
Week 7. Let's just roll right into common sense and Fandom. So okay, common sense this week. Let me lay it out for you, Chuck.
we're going for
I
it.
don't quite know if it's common sense. So I want your opinion.
Okay.
Last week I sent Trev and Chuck an article. I don't know if anybody saw it. It was about Koepka had said something while hanging out with some of the other live guys about fuck those guys from the from like the what was the quiet wordage from the country club life, and it was kind of shot at Justin Thompson and Jordan Spieth. Well, Brooks came out and said, like, dude, of course I would have taken the $150 million they offered me. I just came off of 2 knee surgeries, and I grew up dirt poor. First person I called when they signed me was my mom, and we cried about it. So his quote, talking to other people in a room, was, fuck those country club motherfuckers. Why wouldn't I have taken this deal? Okay? Now, this week in baseball, Bryce Harper, Chris Harris made a great catch of the wall, threw it back in. Austin Riley made a better play in the infield, doubled up Bryce Harper for the second out, or the 3rd out in the 9th inning in the game. So there's a reporter in the locker room, and he reported on the fact that Orlando Arcia was making fun of the fact that Bryce Harper got thrown out at first. Now, Bryce Harper nor Koepka were asked by these reporters these things. That's just heard in statements and turn these statements into reports. I think it's common sense that if you're going to be allowed in the locker room, that you only get to report on the stuff where the questions are being asked, not on stuff that you overhear players saying or teammates saying to each other. You, Chuck?
I think it comes down to what is uttered. If it's something offhand like that, that's a simple personal opinion, then that's not anything to report. That's sports jargon. That shit happens. Shit talking is part of. It doesn't matter male, female. Doesn't matter all the way from little leagues to professional. The point is competition. You're gonna shit talk your opponent. You're gonna bump yourself up. You're gonna say. You're gonna laugh. It's all part of the game. Where reports should come out more so than when they don't is when you hear some shit that's like off key, like really biased, out of like pocket kind of stuff. Whether it be like some racist stuff or some violent stuff or some like real world implication stuff. Like that's different. Like if some motherfucker's sitting in the locker room, with a rhetoric of hate speech, then obviously you're going to report that. Nobody's dumb enough to do that, but I'm just saying, like, there is a fine line in between, like, hearsay or just, like,
or locker room talk.
It's gonna happen. You want it to happen. You want to hear the guys or ladies in that locker room be, into or aggressive or about it. About that life. I don't want my athletes to be like, oh well, like it's not. It's beautiful to love the spirit of competition. It's one thing to understand that you fall under the same umbrella, and that at the end of the day, everybody goes home to their families, and that everybody loves each other, all those kinds of things. But like. Drama is what fuels competition, rivalry, disdain. If you liked everybody that you played against, would it be as fun?
No,
absolutely not. So
Kobe laid out Powell.
It's
in the fucking
right, because you're not my teammate right now. Like, I got a mission to do with these boys in blue. That is a great highlight, and I mean he smokes them too. Yeah, but also long story short, I think the idea is that, like, you should, as a human, as a player, you don't get your shit broadcasted when you're just saying, regular things to regular people about regular stuff.
If you're not being asked the question.
Right. If it's not a direct, I'm putting this out there for the media to understand, then...
Because then nobody would say anything in the locker room.
Well, because honestly, it's like kind of slanderous, and it's just not... You keep my name out your mouth is basically what it comes back to. Is like, how dare you come out here and put some stuff out here that I didn't even know you heard.
You heard me from behind me. I
wasn't talking to you at all. Like, that's some high school gossip kind of stuff, right? Like, and unfortunately, that's what moves and gets clicks. That's what moves papers and gets clicks, is gossip and drama and blood. Like, it has been forever and always. Like, and drama is good. Drama is good. That's the narrative. But like, reporters do better in the idea that, like, you don't get to just take these people's words and just put it on to like a major publication without clearing it with them. It's a privacy act in a way, like, you know what I mean? So I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that is common sense, and if that person wants to come out and say, hey, I dislike this person because of this, this, and this, you can put that in your pretty little paper, then go for it. But if you're walking through the locker room or through the tunnel to a bus, I heard George Kittle say, he's got a shirt that says, fuck Dallas. Well, he sure did, and he got fined for that.
Jeez, dude. That's sick, though, wearing a shirt.
Hey, man, I cannot believe they just lost to Cleveland. All the juice you got and scored it out against Dallas right there.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Let's jump into Fandom. Do you want to start with the good Fandom first? Or
we'll start low and we'll end high, right? That's how.
I got a negative Fandom.
Negative Fandom. Let's bring it on. Bring the wheelbarrow.
So this week, college football wise, I love it.
Right. Every week you got to be thankful for it.
My two favorite teams.
SC.
UNR and SC. Wear those. We wear a lot of UNR clothing throughout the thing.
Very much true.
Lost to UNLV and got fucking handled.
They've been handled in every game. Have they won a game yet?
No. Longest losing streak in the nation. Longest losing streak in the nation. And then my other team, USC, gets beat the fuck out of by Notre Dame. I literally lost 2 games this week to fucking rivals. My A's suck. SC's fucking okay offensively, not great defensively. My fucking Wolfpack sucks. And these jerk-offs right here are probably going to lose the fucking game because they're going to make a mistake.
So you need the Knights and the Lakers to show out.
Championship last year.
That's true.
So it just sucks having a weekend of
I do like this old school Raiders shirt.
Yeah, dude,
it is clean. It looks.
It's just a bummer having your like more favorite teams
100%.
being college football lose to rivals. Just fucking just
yeah.
sucks. Lose to rivals is awful. In-state rival UNLV is like the worst. We could have won 1 game all year, and
you want to keep the Fremont Cannon blue. Yeah, that's a. Any civil war is a big deal in college, especially at football.
Just fucking
it's why the Apple Cup coming at the end of the year. Well, that's going to be huge. It's the last one that will be a out of conference. How weird is that?
That's going to be weird.
Who knows what's going to happen to Washington State and Oregon State at the end of the year? They'll probably tag on to wherever, whether it be like the American or somewhere. They'll find a conference to play in. It just won't be a Power 5, which is crazy because those teams are playing very well. They got good recruits. There's programs are building. Anyway, losing to rivals is tough. It is very, very tough, especially when like in SC like. You haven't won in Notre Dame since 2011. I saw that. So that's 6 straight losses in that house. You had the juice. They already had 2 losses, and you were undefeated. So like for your season to keep going, you obviously needed this game. Like that's tough. And then you said your other rival game.
Nevada, just fuck it.
Oh man, keep the Fremont Cannon blue, baby.
Heaviest or biggest rivalry trophy in the nation.
Is it?
Yep.
That's pretty. It's a cannon. It's an actual cannon, everybody.
Actual cannon.
I know that most people listening to this pod are probably from Nevada, but for those who aren't, like, the Fremont Cannon is legit a war cannon that they paint, whether it be red in Vegas or blue in Nevada, and it is a point of fucking pride. Like, if you love college football in your state, give us a shout and let us know what the trophy is that you give a shit about.
Because it's fucking cool-ass trophies.
It is.
The fucking
up in Washington, the Apple Cup is pretty dope, too, but it ain't a fucking cannon. It ain't a war cannon. Like, it is the Fremont Cannon. It's not a trophy of a cannon. It's a fucking cannon. They bring it out on the field and they fire that motherfucker.
Yeah, so why don't you bring some good fandom?
So some good fandom is, we apologized a little earlier about missing the start of the NHL season, and I love that he's rocking his Knights hat. I'm wearing a Huskies hat because I was so stoked on their win yesterday. It was a big one for me.
Only team that wins.
They've been very good since they've formed. My fandom comes to the budding of a new fandom for me in the Seattle Kraken, because the NHL, Seattle has never had an NHL team. They had the Seattle Metropolis, which was like back in the 40s or some shit. Way back in the day. So, yeah, they haven't had a professional hockey team. Yeah, they haven't had a professional hockey team in eons. So, it's an amazing sport. It is so enjoyable to watch, and I will make my way up there to Climate Pledge, which is a dumb arena name, but that's where they play. And I will see them play, and it'll be my first live hockey experience.
I have a better shot to go to Arizona or LA to go to Vegas. What's the way the ticket prices
are. Yeah, no, those
it's literally cheaper for me to fly to Arizona where the Coyotes are.
Game? Yeah, no, that makes sense because those are going to be easy games to get into.
Dude, it literally. I know
the table.
So it is almost easier for me to do that than go.
So to both your fandom is a little bit deeper for your Knights already than mine is for the Kraken. Yes. I will give you that, but I'm very excited to actually, like I was saying, we lost opening game to the Knights, which was a fucking great way to start the season, I suppose. But either way, it's It's a season that I normally wouldn't give a shit about. Now that Seattle's got a team, and I know that sounds corny, but that's where my fandom lies, and I love that. I've started picking up Kraken merch. I followed them through last season and into the playoffs, and we got beat by the Dallas Stars in a great series. Before it was the Western Conference, I guess technically divisional round, and that was I hope we can build on that. It's tough, man. Just because you get somewhere one year doesn't mean you're getting somewhere another year, right?
No, and that's what I really hope is that we can keep staying strong as the Knights. We've been strong since the inception of the Knights.
Sure.
And then last year, we just took that other step. We finally took that other step, and I hope we just can do it again, man. It's so exciting when you are, and I don't have this for football or baseball, but it's so exciting when your team is actually a dominant team. And you're expected to be a top team,
right? Well, and then they actually produce too,
and get the dub, at the end.
So
at the end,
shout out to good fandom, right?
Yes.
So thanks for stopping by and watching Pod 31, y'all. Mm-hmm. Make sure you hit up X for our beers and try them out. They were both very, very good today. Give us a listen on Buzzsprout, Spotify, if that's where you stream, and then leave us a like, subscribe, and share us on YouTube for the video edit. We're going to go ahead and come back. Trevor will be back next week for 32. Another week of Sunday, probably.
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll stick for Sunday shots for a little bit. But remember, we got hockey's already going, so check that out. NBA starts 10:24. Next week, Saturday, big game. Is the big noon kickoff on Fox. Number 7, Penn State, at Number 3, Ohio
That's
State.
right. We didn't give any love to that.
Yeah, we talked about it. We talked about it
Yeah.
earlier.
Okay.
But hey, that's a big game. There's 3 other games after that are ranked on ranked. But that's the big dog. I really hope that when we see you guys next week, that's the game we're pounding on. Just talking about how great it is. I really hope Penn State gets a dub. But
yeah, no kidding, right?
other than that, keep an eye out. Every week we had 4 upsets.
The
this
World
week.
Series is going to be within a game or 2 by the time the next time we come around. It could be set. We don't know.
Yeah, so 10:15 is today. Rangers Astros starts 10:16. NLCS will start. D-backs at Phillies. So lots of good sports going on right now.
Absolutely, this is
hot
This is the apex for sure. So come on back, you guys.
NHL or not NHL, NBA picks coming at you next week. So hopefully we're a little bit better. We've been okay baseball wise on some stuff.
I felt like I was lackluster. I picked the Mets to win the
I
goddamn East.
know. I told you Phillies were going to beat the Braves in the playoffs.
No,
too.
you did. All right, we gotta give credit where credit's due. But come on back for Pod 32. Safety.
Max Crosby, safety. Thank you. See you guys next Pod 32.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome back, Mike.